Landorus Incarnate Forme has been announced to come into Pokemon Go on March 31st. And of course, you clicked on this video because you want to know just how good this Pokemon's going to be. I mean, the previous two Incarnate Form Pokemon have been duds. Is this guy going to be a dud too? Well, that's why I got this video here. I'm going to let you know just how good Landorus Incarnate Forme is in the Raid and Trainer Battle metas, both Ultra League and Master League, if you're curious. Also, if you do want to know how to best beat down Landorus Incarnate Forme, I do have a Landorus Incarnate Forme raid guide coming out in the near future, so make sure to subscribe to SwagTips for that. Of course, in the meantime, you can always check out Pokebattler. The guy's a flying ground type Pokemon, so I think we're going to be seeing some ice types in this raid. We're also going to be getting Landorus Incarnate Forme as a reward Pokemon in the Go Battle League, so I mean, do we really need raid counters for this? So as far as Landorus Incarnate Forme's performance in raid content goes, we have the DPS TDO spreadsheet here, and you can see that Landorus Incarnate Forme is better than Groudon. It's got more DPS than Groudon, a bit less TDO. However, as far as out DPSing Groudon goes, we already have Excadrill for that, and Excadrill has more DPS than Landorus Incarnate Forme. It does have slightly less TDO, but that TDO might be a little bit deceptive here. As far as future raid bosses where we want ground type damage are concerned, we have Zekrom and Reshiram, a Dragon Fire Pokemon and a Dragon Electric type Pokemon. Excadrill here has a Steel subtyping to help it resist their Dragon type attacks. And then when it comes to Zekrom, Excadrill here doesn't have a Flying subtyping like Landorus does, making it even more resistant to those Electric type attacks. So as far as doubling down on Reshiram and Zekrom are concerned, I'd say Excadrill is a better bet than the Landorus Incarnate Forme is. Now we do have two Pokemon above Excadrill here. First and foremost, we have Groudon with Precipice Blades. With the advent of Elite Charge TMs, if you're not aware, if you make it to at least rank 7 in the Go Battle League, you can get an Elite Charge TM at the end of the season, which is like early May. And that Elite Charge TM will allow you to TM any event move onto your Pokemon. So once Precipice Blades Groudon is introduced to the game, we will be able to TM our old Groudons with these Elite Charge TMs. So our old Groudons definitely have some skin in the game to improve in the future. And who's top banana but Precipice Blades Groudon? Then below him we have Landorus Therian Forme. All the Incarnate Form Pokemon have a Therian form of themselves, and the Therian form is typically better than them, typically better. And Landorus' Therian form is definitely much better than the Incarnate form, out DPSing it and having more TDO. For those of you that aren't introduced to all this, DPS is damage per second, which is how rapidly you can beat down a raid boss, and then TDO is total damage output, which is basically a more useful metric of tankiness. So yeah. And then here we got a DPS of the third power times TDO sort, which is supposed to be the overall relative goodness. And if I click on that, you'll see not much has changed. Landorus Therian Forme on top, Groudon, Precipice Blades above it, and then we got Groudon just below them with the Earthquake. So from a raid perspective, I'd have to say that the Incarnate Forme is more of a trophy Pokemon. Collect that candy and get prepared for the Therian Forme, which will be much better than it. Now let's get into the PvP side of things. One thing that's interesting about Landorus' move pool here is that it has access to Outrage. So you might be thinking, hey man, this could be a good Dragon type counter as well as a Steel type counter, because we got the bread and butter Mudshot Earth Power going on. Well, unfortunately for Landorus here, the Outrage is just not enough. We don't have the same type ability bonus, like an extra damage bonus for being the same type as your attacks, such as like Garchomp would with Outrage, for example. And as a result, in the Ultra League, the Outrage is not able to KO the Giratina Altered Form. And when it comes to the Master League, the Outrage is not enough to KO the Giratina Origin Form. So while the Mudshot Earth Power combo is good for dealing with Steel-type Pokemon, such as Registeel and Dialga, we already have other Pokemon that do that job and do other things much better. Similarly, in the Master League, the Rock Slide here, because we are not a Rock type Pokemon, it doesn't end up being enough to KO the Togekiss unless we're comboing it with Rock Throw. But if we're comboing it with Rock Throw, well, now we're starting to lose the Dialga matchup and other Steel type matchups, even with the Earth Power. So overall, Landorus Incarnate Forme is in kind of an awkward spot. The Therian Forme, however, actually has some pretty good swag in the Master League. This here's my Master League simplified graphic. If you haven't seen my Master League 101 video yet, definitely check it out. Link up above and in the description so you can get learned up on the Master League. At any rate, where does Landorus Therian Forme fit in all this? Well, with the other Mudshot users over here in the green corner, being able to beat down on the Steel type Pokemon and beat down on Dialga, and just have a little extra spice, a little flavor to manage other things. As far as the Therian Forme is concerned, that extra spice is very likely going to be the Rock Slide. So it'll be a more spammy alternative to the Rhyperior. Rhyperior is pretty good with that Mud Slap damage, being able to bully down various Pokemon, but Therian Forme is quicker on the draw with the Mud Shot, so it'll be an interesting alternative flavor. As far as being supremely meta viable goes though, I don't think it's something that you're going to want to or have to drop all of your Stardust and Candy on to be good in the Master League. At the end of the day, Dialga and Giratina are going to be the bread and butter, and then when it comes to like counter users and Mud Shot users, Mud Slap users, all of them are pretty dang viable, so you don't really have to break the Stardust Bank powering up something brand new to be functional in the Master League. So overall, Landorus Therian Forme is going to be great. You can max it out if you want to have the second best ground type attacker in the game once Precipice Blades Groudon comes out, and Landorus Therian Forme will function really well in the Master League, but it's not doing so much better than stuff that we already have where it definitely warrants you powering it up. So overall, Landorus Incarnate Forme isn't that bad. It's definitely miles ahead of the other Incarnate Forme Pokemon that we've gotten so far. But compared to the future Therian Forme, it is kind of a McNuffin. Because they share the same candy pool, any Landorus Incarnate Formes that you get over the month of April should be mulched down into candy to fuel the Therian Forme that we'll get sometime in the mysterious future. If there's anything that is hype about the Incarnate Forme here more than anything else, it does mark the end of the Incarnate Forme trio, if you will, and brings us closer to really cool stuff like Zekrom and Reshiram. So stay tuned for that. If you got questions on this content, comment below, let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more like it, well, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. I'd also like to give a special shout out to these Patreon supporters. If you aren't aware, Swagman has a Patreon. If you'd like to help support the Swagman, check it out. Also, not to forget, the ground type DPS TDO chart is unadulterated by really good Shadow Pokemon. So if we were to get like a Shadow Excadrill or a Shadow Rhyperior, for example, then that could definitely flip the script on what we know about good ground type Pokemon. As it stands though, Precipice Blades Groudon is at the top, but Precipice Blades Shadow Groudon, that's going to be a lot better too. So I guess we got to keep an open mind when it comes to powering up raid Pokemon now that the Shadow bonus doesn't appear to be going away at all anytime soon. So Shadows, it's the new reality.